In this video, I want to give you some thoughts on student-produced podcasts or screen recordings and what they can be used for in a classroom. Now, aside from the obvious project or using a video to deliver instruction, I want to throw out the idea that students can use their self-produced podcast or screen recording to demonstrate their knowledge rather than taking a test, or to extend on a concept that you would then use again in your following class or your following year or somewhere else along down the road. These students, they're asked so much just general knowledge questions that screen recording is a great way for them to privately be able to explain something, especially if they have anxiety about standing up and giving a presentation. Just have them screen record it and they can go from there. So I'm going to show you an example of a student-produced recording, and they did this on Jing, and then I uploaded it to my screencasts.com accounts because mine has a little bit more distribution power than theirs would. So this is one that two students made, and this was part of a project that they did at the end of the semester. So rather than taking my final exam multiple choice section, they did a project, or they did an assignment where they took an idea, something that they were interested in, and then they connected it back to every chapter we had covered in that semester. So what they did their screen recording on, and this is again a Jing file, so they did their screen recording on what makes yeast, or what makes bread rise, what about the yeast makes the bread rise. And so they did the research, they put together a Prezi, and they put together a screencast of it. So this took them a few days to do, especially the recording portion of it, because they couldn't edit anything. And they had to learn the nuts and the bolts as they went. But really, all I did was I said to them, here are some programs you can use. Here are some choices. Think about what you can show with each of these and why we might want to use one over the other. And then they went and they worked on it. And they were able to create it. And they learned more doing this than they could have picked up from me giving them a screencast to watch. So screencasting is so simple to do now that students can easily download a program and make a very brief screen recording just demonstrating their knowledge. I know some other teachers, a math teacher in particular, in order for students to self-assess or reassess to make up credit on tests or something like that, they make a screen recording. And so they go through and they have a digital copy of the exam and they talk through it and they explain their line of thinking and why they should earn some credit back. So screen recording can take the place of having multiple conversations in class. And so I'm not saying downplay conversations in class. What I am saying, though, is think about things that students can do recording themselves or recording their screen using some of this free technology that would help you be more attentive in class to other needs. So again, I want to encourage you to think outside the box. Student-produced screen recordings don't necessarily only rely on what you put together, but ask your students to come up with ways to present information that would harness some of the power in web video, starting with the screencasting level.